Oh, yay, oh, yay, oh, yay. This Honorable Supreme Court of Tennessee is now in session. The Honorable Holly Kirby presiding. God save the United States of America, the state of Tennessee, and this honorable court.
Welcome to the Supreme Court virtual swearing-in ceremony for new bar admittees. I'm Holly Kirby, a justice on the Tennessee Supreme Court. I live in Memphis, but I am here on behalf of all 5 court members from all over the state. We're gathered virtually today to make it official for the new bar admittees scheduled to become lawyers today. It's a great achievement for anyone to be admitted to law school, survive 3 years or more of difficult law school courses, graduate, and pass the bar exam. It's always true that many of those who become licensed lawyers have to overcome significant personal obstacles to do so. For all of you, this is doubly true. For you, the entire process was deeply affected by the pandemic. Your law school classes were undoubtedly disrupted, and even the bar exam process was changed. So congratulations to all of you on surviving, passing the bar exam, completing all of the requirements to be admitted as an attorney in Tennessee, and making it here today. In fact, here is an official gold star in recognition of your achievement. Well, it's actually the gold star topper from my Christmas tree, but you get the idea. We're proud of each and every one of you. And a gold star as well for the family and friends who are here virtually in support. Nobody reaches this happy day without help. Many of your family and friends made significant sacrifices so that you could achieve your dream of becoming a lawyer. We as a court want to acknowledge their important contributions as well. The swearing-in ceremony for new lawyers is perhaps the happiest ceremony the court conducts. Most of our proceedings are pretty hotly contested with a winner and a very unhappy loser. But in this ceremony, all motions are granted and everybody gets to leave a winner. So today's ceremony has 2 parts: individual motions for the admission of each new attorney, then a joint oath. New admittees with individual sponsors will go first in alphabetical order. As each new admittee is spotlighted virtually, the sponsors will make a motion for his or her admission. After we finish with them, the remaining new admittees will be spotlighted individually, also in alphabetical order, and Michelle Sellers, president of the Tennessee Bar Association and a fine example of Tennessee's legal community, will sponsor and move for his or her admission to the bar. After all the motions are granted, I will administer the oath of admission to all of you at once. So hang on, don't leave after your motion is granted, or you won't have completed the process. During all of this, note that we have a chat function for you to post comments on your favorite new admittee. We love the chat, so post liberally. You've already heard from our clerk of our appellate courts, Jim Hibner, who also serves as our marshal in this court proceeding. Mr. Hibner, his staff, and our crack IT team make this ceremony possible. The court thanks them for their service to the state. Now, President Sellers, would you like to say a few words to our new admittees?
Thank you, Justice Kirby. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today and to say a few words. My name is Michelle Greenway Sellers, and I'm the president of the Tennessee Bar Association for about another week. During the last couple of years, I've had the privilege to be involved in several swearing-in ceremonies. And as I near the end of my presidency, I can truly say that this is perhaps the best part of my job. to congratulate you on your accomplishments, and to welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee. My favorite part of today is that everyone leaves with a smile on their face. This is truly a great day. I know that many of you have friends and family who have been instrumental in this journey, and on behalf of the bar, I want to thank them for their sacrifices and encouragement that made this day possible. I want to encourage you to thank those who helped you along the way as well. The journey has been different for everyone here today. What called you to law school, motivated you to do the work, and sit for the bar is unique to each one of you. And while our differences will bring strength to the profession, we share an enduring loyalty to the core principles which define who we are in the profession: civility, respect for the rule of law, and an agreement to hold ourselves to higher standards for the benefit of the public. The practice of law can be difficult, but it can also be rewarding. You are entering the profession at a time of change. There will be opportunities for your leadership and your guidance, and I encourage you to embrace those opportunities and help shape the future of our profession. I encourage you to get involved with your local bar association and the Tennessee Bar Association Young Lawyers Division. You will get so much out of involvement with these organizations. You will gain lifelong friendships, pro bono opportunities, and you will find that when you need help in your daily work, that these are the individuals that you can go to for advice at any time. Know that you are part of a caring legal family that stretches out across the state of Tennessee. We stand ready to assist one another. We are proud of your accomplishments, and we look forward to you joining our ranks. Congratulations to each and every one of you today. Thank you.
Thank you, President Sellers. The court agrees with your eloquent remarks and your suggestion that these new lawyers join their local bar associations and become part of our legal community. I'm going to take the liberty of making a few remarks about your new role in society as a lawyer. My wonderful colleague on the Tennessee Supreme Court, Justice Connie Clark, likes to highlight to new lawyers the words of the first female justice on the United States Supreme Court, Sandra Day O'Connor, and I'm going to follow her lead. Justice O'Connor wrote passionately about the role of lawyers in a democratic republic in her 2003 book, The Majesty of the Law. Her words resonate today, where national events have shown the importance of lawyers, judges, and our state and federal justice systems in preserving equal rights and the rule of law. Justice O'Connor said, "Democracy takes work and time and constant effort. Freedom and equality are not achieved overnight. Liberty requires us to place ourselves in another's shoes, to see that things may not be as fair or as equitable as they appear from our own vantage point. Justice compels us to understand the rage, to feel the pain, to respond to the cries. Although it's easy to become impatient and disheartened by process failure and social discord, we must all take the long view of democratic change. Democracy also requires a strong judicial system in which wrongdoers, no matter how influential, are punished, and victims, no matter how powerless, gain relief. Only with an independent judiciary can there be any assurance that justice will be served. One of the strongest pillars of democracy is the development of an educated citizenry. Establishing the right to vote is essential, but as we have discovered here in the United States, citizens may not participate in the political process unless they understand it and believe that they can make a difference. Lawyers possess the key to justice under the rule of law. the key that opens the courtroom door. That key is not held for lawyers' own private purposes. It's held in trust for those who would seek justice, rich and poor alike. While a business can afford to focus solely on profits, a profession cannot. It must devote itself first to the community it is responsible to serve. Justice O'Connor's words are even more true today. We on the court recognize that you have to make money, you have to make a living, but we urge you to also fully inhabit the special role of lawyers in our society. I'm betting that even though you are only becoming licensed today, many of you have already become the in-house lawyer for your family and friends. You have a sphere of influence. We urge you to use it for the good. Use your platform as a lawyer to educate those around you about the importance of the rule of law, the principle that all of us must operate within the bounds of the law, and all of us are entitled to basic rights. Educate your friends and family about the basic differences between the branches of government, the importance of having independent judges, and why lawyers are obliged to bring facts and evidence to court, not just conjecture. Most of all, look out for our most vulnerable citizens and use your gifts to support and defend their rights under the law. Okay, that's the end of my preaching. And now it's time to hear the motions for admission. This is the good stuff. We'll start with the admittees with individual sponsors, followed by the admittees being introduced by President Sellers.
May it please the court, I am Hudson Ellis. I'm a member of the Tennessee Bar, and I would like to introduce Casey Garrett. Ms. Garrett is a graduate cum laude of Penn State Law and a member of the Eric Buchanan and Associates law firm. Ms. Garrett has successfully completed all of the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for Casey Garrett's admission to the practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Mr. Ellis, the court is most pleased to grant your motion. And Ms. Garrett, congratulations to you. We're so pleased to have you join our legal community and become a full-fledged attorney.
Thank you.
So good afternoon, and may it please the court. I am Steve Clifton. I am a member of the Tennessee and Kentucky bars. It is my privilege to introduce to you Erica Ivy, who's actually going to be my future daughter-in-law. Miss Ivy is a graduate of the University of Tennessee and is currently clerking for the Honorable Hanley Ingram, the United States Magistrate Judge in London, Kentucky. Miss Ivy has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for Miss Ivy's admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Mr. Clifton, the court is very pleased to grant your motion. And Ms. Ivy, this is a pretty good start for your integration into your new family. So it's really special to see an introduction like that, and your clerkship is going to prepare you well for the practice of law. Welcome to the practice of law in Tennessee.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that all of our individually sponsored attorneys, Mr. Hebner?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
All right. Ms. Sellers, you may begin the other bar admittees.
Thank you, Justice Kirby. May it please the court, I'm Michelle Greenway Sellers. I'm a member of the Tennessee Bar, and it's my honor to introduce Ariel Bailey. She is a graduate of the University of Mississippi School of Law. She has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for her admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Ms. Sellers, the court is most pleased to grant your motion. Ms. Bailey, welcome to you. Welcome to the practice of law in Tennessee.
Thank you.
It's It's my honor to introduce Amanda Blankenship. She's a graduate of the Appalachian School of Law. She has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for her admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
We're happy to grant your motion, Ms. Sellers. Ms. Blankenship, this is a great start for your new profession. Welcome to the practice of law.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure to introduce Paul Gransfeld. He is a graduate of the University of South Carolina and Marquette University Law School. He has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for his admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Your motion is granted, Ms. Sellers. Mr. Gransfeld, congratulations to you. We're happy to have you part of the bar in Tennessee.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure to introduce Laura Fellow. She's a graduate of Brigham Young University and the College of William and Mary Marshall White School of Law. She has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for her admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
We're happy to grant your motion, Ms. Sellers. Ms. Fellow, that's a good pedigree for practicing law in Tennessee. We're happy to have you part of our bar.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It's my pleasure to introduce Brian Garrett. He is a graduate of the University of Mississippi and Duke University School of Law. He will be associated with Glassman, Wyatt, Tuttle, and Cox, PC. He has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for his admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Ms. Sellers, your motion is granted. And Mr. Garrett, I'm hoping that Roger the dog is there with you at some point, since Mr. Garrett, full disclosure, is my neighbor and our dogs play together. So I'm wishing that he would make an appearance here, but if not, we can do without it. But I'm really honored to be able to grant this motion and recognize you officially as a new lawyer in Tennessee. Congratulations.
Thank you, Your Honor. No, Roger is at home and not in the office today.
Okay, all right. Well, we're all the poorer for it, but maybe next time.
It's my pleasure to introduce Grace Bailey Gilliland. She is a graduate of Western Kentucky University and the University of Memphis Cecil C. Humphrey School of Law. Her honors include graduation magna cum laude. She has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for her admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
The court is most pleased to grant your motion, Ms. Sellers. Ms. Gilliland, you get the Room Rater Award for the best composed background, and the court is most happy to welcome you to the practice of law. Congratulations.
Thank you, Justice Kirby. Thank you so much. And it's always a pleasure to have you in Memphis as well. I know we have such a great resource there with you there.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's my pleasure to introduce James Theopolis McCoyne II. He is a graduate of Austin Peay State University and the Nashville School of Law. His honors include the Dean's Pro Bono Service Award and the Tennessee Supreme Court 2018 Law Student for Justice Award. Mr. McCoyne was an AmeriCorps Vista volunteer in service to America for 2013 to 2015. He has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for his admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Ms. Sellers, we're very pleased to grant your motion. Mr. McCoyne, what an impressive background of service to our community, our state, our country. We're so pleased to have you part of the bar in Tennessee. I hope that you will serve as a fine example for all of the lawyers in Tennessee of how lawyers can make a difference to their community. Congratulations and welcome to the bar in Tennessee.
Thank you, Justice Kirby.
It is my pleasure to introduce Anwar Sadat Montgomery. He is a graduate of Prairie View A&M University and SMU Dedman School of Law. He will be associated with Montgomery Law, PLLC. He has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for his admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
The court is pleased to grant your motion, Ms. Sellers and Mr. Montgomery. We're so pleased to have you part of the bar in Tennessee. We're anxious to see your contribution to our legal community. Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
It is my pleasure to introduce Den Nguyen. He is a graduate of the University of Dallas and Thomas Good Jones School of Law. He has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for his admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
The court happily grants your motion, Ms. Sellers and Mr. Nguyen. Congratulations to you. Welcome to the bar in Tennessee.
Thank you.
It is my pleasure to introduce Julie Pacharas. She is a graduate of Baylor University and Baylor Law School. Her honors include graduation cum laude and Baylor Law Review. She has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for her admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
The court is pleased to grant your motion, Ms. Sellers and Ms. Pacharas. That's a great background. Law Review will arm you well for the practice of law in Tennessee. We're pleased to have you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It's my pleasure to introduce David A. Remelt. He is a graduate of Hamilton College and Indiana University Maurer School of Law. His honors include graduation cum laude, Indiana Law Journal, moot court first place. He has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for his admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
The court is pleased to grant your motion, Ms. Sellers. Mr. Remelt, am I saying that correctly?
Yep.
I want to make sure I get it right. Both of my now grown children went to Indiana University. It's just a fabulous place. I hope that you had a really good experience there. It's a fine school, great background, and we're very pleased to have you part of the legal community in Tennessee. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Justice Kirby.
It's my pleasure to introduce Margaret Marie Seiler. She's a graduate of Georgetown University School of Foreign Service and Northwestern University School of Law. Her honors include graduation cum laude, Order of the Court, and Northwestern University Law Review. She will be associated with the Office of the Tennessee Attorney General Consumer Protection Division. She has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for her admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
The court is pleased to grant your motion. Is it Seiler or Seiler? I have down Seiler on my list.
It's Seiler. Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Well, I always want to make sure this is an important moment. And any of you, if I don't pronounce your name correctly, I want you to tell me. This is no time for a mispronounced name. What a great academic background you have. You're going to have a great experience with our Attorney General's office. Congratulations to you. And we're very pleased to have you part of the bar in Tennessee.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Congratulations. Sorry about pronouncing your name wrong. It is my pleasure to introduce Douglas Stein. He is a graduate of the University of Maryland, College Park, and the Benjamin N. Cardoza School of Law. He will be associated with Stein Law, LLC. He has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for his admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Court happily grants your motion, Ms. Sellers and Mr. Stein. We're very pleased to have you part of the bar in Tennessee. Congratulations to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It is my pleasure to introduce Xinyan Zhang. She is a graduate of Vanderbilt Law School. She has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for her admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
The court happily grants your motion, Ms. Sellers. And Ms. Zhang, you're very accustomed, I'm sure, to being the last one on the list with the last name that starts with Z, but this way we have the big conclusion to our list, and you are the highlight. So congratulations to you and welcome to the practice of law in Tennessee.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Is that all of the admissions today, Mr. Hinder?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
Great. All right, now comes the big moment, the oath. Make sure you unmute yourselves. We want to hear each and every one of you repeat the oath. If you want to stand and stay on camera, you are welcome to do that any way you want to do that. If you have family or friends or dogs or kids or any of that with you, and you want to gather them with you as you take your oath, I'll give you a minute to get prepared and get them into the shot. You're welcome to do that. All right. If everybody is ready and everybody is unmuted, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Douglas Stein,
I love that part the best with the jumble of names. Do solemnly swear or affirm.
Do solemnly affirm
Or affirm
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support
the Constitution of the United States
And the Constitution of the State of Tennessee.
and the
Constitution of the State of Tennessee.
And the Constitution of the State of Tennessee.
In the practice of my profession.
In the practice of my profession.
I will conduct myself.
I will conduct myself
with honesty.
with honesty,
Fairness. Integrity.
integrity,
And civility.
and civility.
To the best of my skill and abilities.
To the best of my skill and abilities.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Gold Star for everybody. Welcome to the bar. We look forward to working with you in the practice of law. And that will conclude this most happy court proceeding. Go celebrate with your family and friends. We stand adjourned.
This honorable court is now adjourned. Congratulations, everyone.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.